Chairman Powell, before he became Chairman Powell, he approaches the Fed job differently than most Fed chairmen do. He's not a traditional economist. He's much more, he's much smoother. He's a very affable guy. He's very gregarious. He's very easy to like. But the job is very difficult. I think that I think a fair read would suggest that there's a bit of uncertainty on the future. Every single day is there's something, there's a different headline or maybe a different tweet that he has to respond to, but he has to have long-term planning. He, along with the Fed governors, had to look at the economic data and be driven by it and remain independent, but also make sure that their economy is resilient.
President Trump handpicked Fed Chair Jay Powell to be in that position. Do you envision a scenario where the two of those folks can actually get together ideologically or come to terms, come to an agreement about how America's monetary policy should be run?
So, look, I think that they actually ideologically are aligned. I think that both of them want the economy to do very well. So, let's say it that way. I think they're both pro-market pro-market folks. I think I think obviously there are some tensions about where the interest rate may be, appropriately put. But the chairman and the Fed have lowered rates. Making the U.S. economy incredibly resilient. I mean, I've kept saying that we have this, this kind of wall around the United States that has well insulated the U.S. economy from a worldwide slowdown and significant slowdowns in some of the regions of the world. So, we're still an economic engine of the world, and the world is relying upon us to do that.
All right, so the world is obviously looking towards the U.S. for economic leadership right now. The U.S. is arguably providing it.
Yep.
The stock markets have hit record highs
Correct.
Consistently multiple times over the past week and a half or so. Is this a scenario now where the American economy is in a good position to keep that leadership role and power that engine that is the global economy?
So I think first of all, I think we can take off the table, for a recession next year. Hopefully that's in the rearview mirror. There may be some episodic slowdowns, but I think at the end of the day, I think we're in a good spot going into, 2021, hopefully. The Fed, as you know, usually does not intervene in election years. And so I think that we see, one more chance for the Fed to do something in December before we dip into this crazy election year that we're going to go into next year. But I think overall, the recent jobs report, the two jobs reports in the past were revised up. So it looks like the U.S. economy is resilient and remains strong. But I think all engines are, and everything in Washington, certainly everyone in New York, is pushing forward and hoping for that we continue to maintain the resilient, strong state that we have been.
So it's resilient, it's strong. You've used those words. So from an investment standpoint, what does that mean for the markets overall as we head towards what could be a volatile election year?
But I think we and our clients are very bullish on the economy, and we think that this is going to be hopefully we'll remain in this bull market for a very long time. That's where our goal is, and that's where our hope is, and I think that's where certainly my former colleagues in Washington are, and I know the president wants that clearly as well, and I think the Chairman Powell does as well.
Are there places within the economy that you think are going to be doing better than others? We've spoken a lot about how technology companies have been the driving force behind the market rally in the past few years, and arguably longer than that. Yep. Does technology continue to assume that leadership role going forward?
I think there's no reason why it shouldn't, but I think some of the IPOs have had some challenges as well recently, and so I think there's probably some corporate governance issues and perhaps some valuation issues. As we said in the show last time I was with you, I think the overall U.S. equities are, I think, a little overpriced. But I think that, I think at the end of the day, I think there's nothing to suggest that they're going to reprice. So I think we're in a good spot, but a lot of money parked on the sidelines as well. So we'll see how all that goes. But